How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just wanted to come on here for a while and give my review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage from 2 nights ago, which was September 17th, 2021. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match 1, it was the Lucha Brothers, which are Rey Fenix and Pena El Cerro Miedo, versus the Butcher and the Blade for the AEW Tag Team titles. That was a great match, but the ending to it, the Lucha Brothers went over and retained the AEW Tag Team titles because Rey Fenix pinned the Butcher with the Hurricane Rana. Well, after the match, Private Party, which are Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, came out and attacked the Lucha Brothers, beating the shit out of them, and the Butcher and the Blade joined in the attack and everything. And then Alex Abrahantes was trying to cheer on the Lucha Brothers to get going and everything, but Isaiah Cassidy attacked Alex Abrahantes and laid him out. And then as Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, the Butcher, and the Blade were beating the shit out of the Lucha Brothers, Proud and Powerful, which are Santana and Ortiz, came out to make the save for the Lucha Brothers, but the Hardy Family Office, which are Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, the Butcher, and the Blade, retreated. And along with Matt Hardy, Jack Evans, and the Bunny. And Proud and Powerful tended to the Lucha Brothers and everything as well, which that was cool. Match two, it was Anna Jay versus the Bunny. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Anna Jay went over with a schoolgirl. But after the match, as Anna Jay was celebrating her victory, the Bunny attacked Anna Jay from behind and beat the shit out of her. Then Ty Conti came in the ring and started beating the shit out of the Bunny and everything. And then Penelope Ford came into the ring and attacked Ty Conti from behind, beating the shit out of her. And then the Bunny held Ty Conti down, and Penelope Ford attacked Ty Conti with a punch in the face with brass knuckles, and then Penelope Ford attacked Anna Jay with a punch in the face with brass knuckles, so laying them both out in the process. And so the Bunny and Penelope Ford celebrated while Matt Hardy and Jack Evans were standing out in the ring looking on and everything. That was cool. Now, before the match of I forgot to say, before the match between Anna Jay versus the Bunny, a brawl ensued before the match, and Anna Jay was kicking the Bunny's ass and everything, and then the match started, which that was cool too. And match 3, which was the main event, it was Miro versus Fuego del Sol for the AEW TNT title, and also Fuego del Sol's car was on the line as well. That was a great match, but the ending to it, hold on. Match 3, which was the main event, it was Miro versus Fuego del Sol for the AEW TNT title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Miro went over and retained the AEW TNT title with a super kick. Also, not only was the AEW TNT title on the line, but Fuego del Sol's car was on the line as well. And after the match, Miro got Fuego del Sol's car keys, put them in his mouth, and then Miro executed the game over on Fuego del Sol, and Sammy Guevara came out into the ring, and Miro tried to attack Sammy Guevara, but Sammy Guevara moved out of the way, and Sammy Guevara attacked Miro with a knee strike, and Miro got knocked out of the ring, and Sammy Guevara held up the AEW TNT title and then laid it down. Then Miro came back to the ring to grab the AEW TNT title, and so Miro was standing outside of the ring, and Sammy Guevara was standing inside of the ring, and they stared each other down and everything. Which that was cool, and that was after the match, by the way. Now, besides the matches, Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega, besides the matches, AEW aired a video package of the build-up of the match between Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega at AEW Dynamite's Grand Slam this coming Wednesday. And Kenny Omega was talking about how Bryan Danielson was the underdog in WWE, and he's not ranked here in AEW, and he's going to be the underdog here in AEW as well and everything. And then Bryan Danielson was talking about how he wanted his first match in AEW to be against the toughest guy on the AEW roster, and he was told that it was Kenny Omega and everything. And then Kenny Omega talked about how nobody's been able to beat him and everything. And then Bryan Danielson was talking about how he's going to show everyone who the American Dragon Bryan Danielson is and everything. And Kenny Omega continued to talk more shit, as did Bryan Danielson and everything as well. That was cool. Team Taz, which are Taz, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Hook, cut a promo, and Powerhouse Hobbs was talking about how CM Punk calls himself the best in the world and everything, and then Powerhouse Hobbs was saying that CM Punk wasn't the best in the world because he kicked his ass last Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, and was saying that CM Punk better think about why he needed to stay retired even after 7 years of being gone and everything. And Powerhouse Hobbs talked about how he was going to kick CM Punk's ass and send him back to retirement and everything as well, which that was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed Matt Hardy and Jack Evans, and Tony Schiavone was pretty much reminding Matt Hardy that the Hardy family office are 0-2 because the Butcher and the Blade lost a shot at the AEW Tag Team titles against the Lucha Brothers, and the Bunny lost to Anna Jay. And Matt Hardy was pretty much saying, and Matt Hardy was saying, yeah, Tony, I'm pissed off because Anna Jay is going to pay next week on the Grand Slam of Rampage against Penelope Ford, and the Lucha Brothers and Proud and Powerful are going to pay against Private Party and the Butcher and the Blade in an 8-man tag team match next week on AEW's Grand Slam of Rampage. But another thing that pisses me off is that Orange Cassidy lookalike in the crowd, because he's been staring me down all night. And so Matt Hardy got out of the ring, and so Matt Hardy got out of the ring and Jack Evans was still in the ring, but Matt Hardy got out of the ring, grabbed the fan in the crowd that was dressed like Orange Cassidy, threw him over the barricade, then got him in the ring and everything. And then Matt Hardy threw the fan in the ring, and Jack Evans was beating the shit out of the fan, and then Matt Hardy executed the twist of fate to the fan, laying him out, and Matt Hardy had Jack Evans Matt Hardy held the fan down and instructed Jack Evans to cut the fan's hair, and so Jack Evans held the fan down, and Matt Hardy cut the fan's ponytail off, and then Jack Evans got the clippers and was shaving the man's head with them, and Matt Hardy was talking shit towards the fan, and then Orange Cassidy came out for the save, and Matt Hardy and Jack Evans retreated, while Orange Cassidy was still in the ring, and Matt Hardy and Jack Evans were outside the ring, and it was a stare down and everything. That was cool. Tony Schiavone interviewed Britt Baker and Ruby Soho, and Tony Schiavone was already outside in the ring, and Britt Baker came out, and then Ruby Soho came out, and they were cutting promos towards each other. Britt Baker was talking about how Ruby Soho was a nobody, and how Dr. Britt Baker, DMD herself, was the best woman on the AEW, was the most talented woman on the AEW roster, and talked about how Ruby Soho was a nobody because nobody here in AEW knows who she is, but everybody knows Dr. Britt Baker and everything. And then Ruby Soho was talking about how, yes, everybody here knows you, Britt, because every week you shove it down their throats and everything. And then Britt Baker was talking about how Ruby Soho calls herself the Runaway, but but she didn't run away from WWE. She got fired. And Ruby Soho was saying, yes, I got fired, Britt, but it was a damn good thing that it happened because I wouldn't be here in AEW if I didn't get fired from WWE. And then Britt Baker was talking more shit towards Ruby Soho, and Ruby Soho was saying Ruby Soho was saying to Britt Baker, saying, Britt, the only reason you get what you want around here is because you're banging a dude in the back, and you also have your head so far up Tony Khan's ass and everything. And then Britt Baker continued to talk more shit towards Ruby Soho and everything, and then Ruby Soho talked more shit back, and then Britt Baker tried to attack Ruby Soho, and then Ruby Soho moved out of the way. Ruby Soho tackled Britt Baker down, started punching her in the face and everything, and then Britt Baker got out of the ring, and Ruby Soho and Britt Baker stared each other down and everything. That was cool. And Mark Henry interviewed Miro and Fuego del Sol, and Mark Henry asked Fuego del Sol, he was saying, Fuego, you're willing to give up your brand new car for another shot at Miro for the AEW TNT title. Why did you make this decision? And Fuego del Sol said, Mark, yes, I'm willing to give up my new car for another shot at Miro for the AEW TNT title, because I want the AEW TNT title, because I came close to beating Miro last time, and I'm going to do it this time because I'm going to drop him on his head and break his neck with the tornado DDT and everything. And then Mark Henry asked Miro, he said, Miro, what's your strategy going into this match? Has anything changed? He said, Miro said, Mark, my strategy is still the same. Fuego, I'm going to take your car. Not only am I going to take your car, but I'm going to break your spine, and I'm going to retain my AEW TNT title, and I'm going to go home and celebrate with my hot wife and thank my God for another conquering victory and everything. And then Mark Henry was saying, well, the time for talk is over. Let's go to the ring and everything. That was cool. Now, besides all that, Taz, Excalibur, and Chris Jericho done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. And Ricky Starks done guest commentary along with Taz, Excalibur, and Chris Jericho throughout the whole show. Ricky Starks done awesome on guest commentary. And the referees for the event were Paul Turner, Bryce Remsburg, and Aubrey Edwards. Paul Turner refereed the match between the Lucha Brothers versus the Butcher and the Blade. Aubrey Edwards refereed the match between Anna Jay versus the Bunny. And Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Miro versus Fuego del Sol. All the referees done awesome as usual. Now, the match card for Wednesday night's All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's... Wait. Now, the match card for this Wednesday's AEW Dynamite's... Wait. Now, the match card for this Sunday's All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's Grand Slam, it's going to be Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. Wait, hold on a second. So the match card for Wednesday night's All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's Grand Slam, it's going to be it's going to be Cody Rhodes. Wait, hold on. The match card for this Wednesday night's All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's Grand Slam, it's going to be Sting. Hold on. The match card for this Wednesday night's All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's Grand Slam, it's going to be Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho for the AEW Women's title. Sting and Darby Allin versus FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black. Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. And MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr. Those are the matches that have been announced. Now, besides the matches that have been announced for AEW Dynamite's Grand Slam, CM Punk will be appearing live. Now, the match card for All Elite Wrestling's... Now, the match card for next week's All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage Grand Slam, it's going to be Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express, which are Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Hold on a second. Let me do this over again. I'm sorry. So, the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's Grand Slam this Wednesday, it's going to be Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho for the AEW Women's title. Sting and Darby Allin versus FTR, which are Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. Cody Rhodes versus Malachi Black. Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. And MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr. Those are the matches that have been announced. Now, besides the matches that have been announced, CM Punk will be appearing live. Now, the match card for next week's All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage Grand Slam, it's going to be Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express, which are Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, versus the Super Clique, which are Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, and Adam Cole. The Inner Circle, which are Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Men of the Year, which are Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus Suzuki Goon, which are Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki, in a lights out match. The Lucha Brothers, which are Rey Fenix and Pena El Cerro Miedo, and Proud and Powerful, which are Santana and Ortiz, versus the Hardy Family Office, which are Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, The Butcher and the Blade, and Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. Those are the matches that have been announced so far. Now, the match card for both All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's Grand Slam on Wednesday night and the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage Grand Slam on Friday night look like both shows look like they're going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to them. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give my review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give my review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Rampage from 2 nights ago, which was September 17th, 2021. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your ass down the road. Peace out.